Welcome back into the Enrichment Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. They have emergency medicine available, cancer care available, Heart Institute, Robotic Surgery Center. They have a stroke center. They have labor and delivery center, orthopedic experts. Whatever type of medical needs you have, Tennova Healthcare can meet them. They can help you. I've been with Tennova. I've used Tennova a number of times, specifically when I went through a cancer battle. I can't tell you enough good things about Tennova Healthcare, but go see for yourself. Tennova.com is the website where you can learn more about Tennova Healthcare. They've got locations throughout East Tennessee. Tennova.com. All right. I want to welcome in Shazon Bradley, who seems a little down today, former Vol defensive lineman. I wondered if we were going to have anybody, somebody tweeted me earlier and said, I want to see some emotion. And I let them know I don't know that it's going to be anger. I think it's just going to be a lot of people down. Shazon, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. First question for you guys. With Dobbs at quarterback, UT has scored 3 touchdowns in 3.5 games. Not all his fault. He threw 2 picks last night. Josh Smith dropped another deep ball in his hands. Pig Howard had the block in the back on the touchdown run. He juggled what should have been a catch. Pilardi missed a field goal. Marquez North left after his first catch, and now you've got no deep threat. So it wasn't all his fault. But here are Dobbs' numbers as a player so far. This is what he's done on the year. 47-79, about 60% completion, 443 yards. No touchdowns, though. He should have a couple. 3 interceptions, just 5 yards per attempt, 4 sacks on the year.
I think he's got 5 interceptions.
Okay, well, I might have tallied that up wrong. He had, anyway, 4 or 5 interceptions.
He had 3 going into the game.
Okay, 4 or 5 interceptions, so 5 interceptions. The rest of those numbers are correct, though, trust me. Just made them up. All right, the point being, is Dobbs your guy at Kentucky if anybody else is healthy?
I'm going to go with now. I would have said yes, yes, yes all the way up through last night, but I think now if you've got Worley back, I would go with Worley. Now, if you don't have Worley, I wouldn't go with anybody else. But if you have Worley, I think I probably would play him.
I wouldn't burn Ferguson's red shirt.
I agree with that. I agree with Bob. If I got Worley, Peterman I don't trust, but if I've got Worley healthy, I'd go with him. I had made the comment a few weeks ago that I was more encouraged than discouraged by Dobbs. Mm-hmm. I can't say I feel that way now.
Correct.
Looked like he regressed, I think, last night specifically.
He made a couple of moves in the pocket that concerned me. The 16-yard sack, but he also had another move in the pocket that I thought he got lucky because he started
spun around.
Exactly.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he turned around and there was an open lane. I thought, well, he was just fortunate there. And then the next time around he did it and he wasn't so fortunate.
It's the Barry Sanders. Sometimes you do that and it works and sometimes you don't. Josh Dobbs, your thoughts, Shazon?
At this point, I'm a little frustrated with him. I understand. First of all, we have to admit, hey, the guy's just a freshman. Yeah. But at this point, I think thumbs down, Worley's a better quarterback and he's healthy. I think we should play him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I guess the question is Worley healthy? I mean, I think I've heard bowl game, which is gone now. So,
he can go play some pickup games.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree. Worley had some things that he had to correct from a standpoint of just trust your instincts, make the decision, go ahead and throw the ball as you see the receiver coming open, don't hesitate. And he's got some additional touchdowns, and he's playing a lot better football. Dobbs, he's a true freshman. He's still going to have mistakes, but he didn't see the field very well last night.
No, he didn't, and I'll say this, though. True freshman, everybody, the one you grade it by, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning didn't have this lineup around him either. Manning looked better than Dobbs, there's no question. He looked better than anybody. But if Manning had had Josh Smith dropping passes, if he had had Pig Howard bobbling passes, I don't know how good Manning would have looked as a freshman. The point being, Dobbs hasn't looked good the last couple of weeks. I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater, though, because I think there are a lot of things that were going wrong around him. It focuses on the quarterback, but a lot of it is going wrong around him, I thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would go in if you had Worley play him next week against Kentucky. But that doesn't mean to give up on Dobbs, and he's not going to end up being a good quarterback at Tennessee. But for one game, if you had Worley, I'd play him.
Yeah. Okay. UT went into that game needing to run the ball. I mean, the idea was to come out and just run it down their throats. You should have been able to. Vanderbilt has a smaller defensive line. They were stuffed on their first 2 run plays. Dobbs then throws a pick on the 3rd play, and the table is set for the rest of the evening. Tennessee had 45 carries, 184 yards, 4-yard average. The backs, the running backs specifically, not the end arounds, the quarterback runs, 31 carries for 148 yards. That's about a 4.5 yard average. David Ligon, you were on the O-line. Did the backs and the O-line do enough last night?
Well, you didn't win, so no, you didn't.
Okay, that's the tough grade.
That is. Now,
Considering how many people you had in the box.
Looking at the stats,
Yep.
it was a good night rushing the football. Now, there were obviously a lot of concerns. I mean, you talking about the opening season. Vanderbilt they actually had 2 300-plus pound guys at defensive tackle. Whenever Tennessee's offensive line has faced 300-plus pound defensive tackles, they've struggled. They really have struggled. So, I saw guys getting pushed back. They played high as normal. Pad leverage is up, and you can't drive people when you're just pushing them with your chest. They're underneath you. I mean, you're never going to win that battle. And frustrating as usual. But look, they had good stats, but you didn't win the game. So no.
Shazan, looking at it from your next defensive lineman, what did you think of Tennessee's run game performance?
Well, back home where I'm from, Atlanta, Tennessee, they always tell the saying is the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Not aggressive enough. You have to be as offensive lineman. You have to be a dictator in order to defeat the defensive lineman. As a defensive lineman, you got to be a dictator and dictate the offense in terms of what they're going to do. I don't see on the offensive side of the ball, nor on the defensive side of the ball, that we're aggressive enough. You have to get upfield. We're kind of feeling for our position. We're kind of feeling for the lane. No, you dictate what the lane's going to be. You dictate the feeling. And you get upfield and you go. It's a runner's game.
Earlier in this year, we showed the numbers where Tennessee had good running games last year. It was always where Bray threw for 350 or 400 yards. I contend that the numbers last year were that change of pace running. I don't think they were a great run blocking team last year. Do you think, however, change in scheme, change in style, change in coaches has hurt this offensive line, David Ligon?
There's no doubt about it. When you have 5 different coaches over your career, you're never able to truly, and everybody's gonna have a little bit different style in coaching. You're never gonna master whatever it is. I mean, 1 year is not enough. Now they may know a lot about, or they may know a little bit of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But they're not masters at any one particular skill. And great if they want to go be a coach one day. I think they can teach a lot of different schemes, but from a player standpoint, they just haven't had enough time to really be good at their skill.
But you're also a Division I football player too, and you must understand the basics of football. And the basics is pop him in the mouth, get it on, let's go.
Yeah, I don't know that you see that with this. How long have we been saying that? This is 4 years we've now been saying this offensive line. They came in so highly recruited. It's like, well, they'll be able to just line up and run over somebody. There haven't been a lot of times when you've seen that over the last 4 years.
I'd like to see them in a 3-point stance a little more often. I think that would help them.
Well, there you go back to your scheme thing a little bit. All right, when we come back, Chuck, Mike, Bobby, and Sterling weigh in. We're going to look at what the bigger concerns were coming out of yesterday's game. Come on back on the Enrichment Sports Source.
You are watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television.